players this week, and defending players champion is Mr. Rory McIlroy. McIlroy shot 4 under, final round. I don't want to get into this narrative again of Rory can't close because I had a revelation over the weekend. T-Bone, want to hear what it is?
Let's hear it.
I don't think we appreciate Rory McIlroy enough. Rory McIlroy again comes in with the T5 finish. That mofo finishes, it seems, in the top 5 every single week. Do you know how hard it is to do that? We always talk about the difficulty of the PGA Tour. I don't see Justin Thomas on this leaderboard. I don't see many names that I would recognize on a day-in and day-out basis outside of Bryson. Harris English finishes T9. Matthew Fitzpatrick. You scroll down, okay, there's Morikawa, there's Scheffler. Patrick Reed finished T15. But you know what? You're finishing T15. That's not going to get me to turn on the TV unless he's in the final group or something like that. Jordan Spieth, what happened to him? Jason Day had the withdrawal from the Bay Hill. There are a lot of guys that are so well, their names are so recognizable, and yet if we see them at the top of the leaderboard 5 to 10 times a year, that's a pretty good season because they're probably going to win at least once. Rory McIlroy is there at every single tournament, it seems like. He's in the final group. Now, there is that discussion whether or not he can and can't close. Okay, let's table that, though, for a sec. I just think we need to appreciate Rory McIlroy a little bit more for how good he is. Is he a killer? I don't know. Does he have that killer instinct, that closing mentality? I don't know.
Sometimes.
Part of me wants to think yes because he has won 4 majors. He has, is it 4 or 5?
I think it's 4.
I think it's 4. I might be wrong. Fact check me on that. Somebody. But he has major championships. He has a Players' Championship as well, which I forgot he was the Players' Champion last year for a minute because it's so easy to dog on Rory. And, sorry, I'm looking up major championships for Rory McIlroy, just so I'm wrong. 4. Ha. PGA Championship, U.S. Open, and British Open. Perfect. One thing, though, that I don't think we appreciate Rory McIlroy enough outside of just his great play is how much of a leader he is within the PGA Tour. Tiger Woods still moves the needle more than anybody here. But there's one thing that we haven't talked about on this podcast, and frankly, I haven't wanted to talk about it because I don't think anything's going to happen from it, and that's the Premier Golf League. Are you familiar with the Premier Golf League, what they're trying to do? Essentially, if you're not familiar, they're trying to start a new worldwide golf organization, Golf League, where they're going to offer players a lot of money, and it's going to be Saudi Arabia-backed Saudi money, and it's where they pay appearance fees, and then, it'll be a little bit different than the PGA Tour. If players leave the PGA Tour, that's not good for the PGA Tour. Now, Rory McIlroy was one of the first players to come out and talk against the Premier Golf League. We can dive into the Premier Golf League at a different point, advantages, different disadvantages of it. But Rory McIlroy comes out and is like, look, I don't think this is a good idea. And if you're the Premier Golf League and you don't get Rory McIlroy, Brooks Koepka, good luck. Unless you buy your stock into like a Cole Hammer or any young up-and-coming amateurs who you are betting on to become big time, but you're not going to get the big dogs. And even when the big dogs come out and say, no, I'm not playing on it, that's tough. And when he gave that interview and he was talking about it, Rory McIlroy is always very honest with the media, maybe to a fault sometimes. But when he says, I don't like the Premier Golf League for X, Y, Z reasons, because of the schedule, because of, and he even said, he goes, I don't like where the money is coming from. That was like a really big thing. I was like, man, that takes some balls to say that. And that's when it hit me. I don't think we appreciate Rory McIlroy enough as a leader. A leader amongst his peers.
Continuing on that, Rory, so one thing with Tiger, when he was the best golfer on the planet, he made his own schedule, his own brief schedule. It's awesome having Rory, one of the best player, probably the best player on the tour, playing practically like every week.
Seems like it.
packed schedule, which is what the fans want. I mean, when Rory's playing, that's just a whole nother dimension to add to watching a golf tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the good players really kind of pick their schedule, and, if they win the FedEx Cup, great. And I think Rory goes into the year going, I'm going to win it. I'm going to get a head start. FedEx Cup's a priority, and I'm going to create my schedule around that. And I think that's pretty respectable, especially as a fan.
Definitely. We're there to see him. And again, Tiger moves the needle more than anybody. We're big Tiger guys here. Most people in the world are big Tiger guys. Tiger is good for golf. Make that very clear. Shout out to Lopez. Shout out to Garza. Tiger, though, at the peak of his dominance, was kind of an ass. He was definitely an ass. He didn't like talking to anybody. He didn't really want to mingle with his peers outside of Mark O'Meara. That's not a good leader. Even though he moves the needle from viewing perspectives and whatnot, as a leader amongst his peers, I think Rory McIlroy is head and shoulders the best that has come in a very, very, very long time. And I just think we need to appreciate Rory McIlroy a little bit more.
I agree.
Love you, Rory. Big fan.
It's easy to.
I forgot how big of a fan I am of Rory.
It's easy to shit on him when he finishes top 10 every time.
Oh, backdoor top 10.
Yeah.
You know what? It's still a top 10.
He's great. Great guy, great player. Let's remember that.
Let's remember Rory. Still 30 years old, dude. That guy has still he is the best driver of the golf ball. His iron play is unbelievable. I don't think he's going to win at the Players this week, but just because he was one last year, that's the only reason why I'm not picking him. It's hard to go back-to-back, especially at TPC Sawgrass. So, Rory McIlroy, as a leader, as a golfer, I forgot how big of a fan I was, and I was just reminded of that this week. But please win a major. It makes it that much easy. Roy, cheering for you, man.